What is going on YouTube? It's your boy Dan, aka aDrive, but guys, a brand new video for Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee. In this video, I'm going to be talking about some of the Pokemon in the game that actually have new moves or new move pools that they didn't previously have, at least in Generation 7. I had some fun banter with Joe Merrick on Twitter, who runs Cerebi.net, and he is just such a wonderful guy that he doesn't mind people like myself using his website to kind of show off some of these changes. So big thanks to Joe, of course, for putting this website together. But we'll talk about some of the Pokemon, maybe how they can impact competitive in the future, and how they can impact your gameplay experience now. So if you enjoyed this video, as always, hit that like button and subscribe if you guys are new. I do Pokemon pretty much every single day. So anyway, we've got a couple interesting things here. I'm gonna go through some of the evolutions a little faster because a lot of them are gonna be similar. So we see one of the big differences here is kind of the pre-evolutions getting Outrage. Mega Drain, of course, is very similar to Giga Drain, as previous games that kind of nixed Giga Drain and then swapped it with Mega Drain, so that's kind of cool, I guess. A couple little things here for Charizard. Again, some of these moves the Pokemon may have learned in previous gens, but they couldn't get in Generation 7. So a lot of Pokemon with the Reflect. We see Rock Slide for Blastoise is kind of cool. Outrage, again, Headbutt being a really good move early game, probably one of the better moves that you can actually access early in the game. Mega Drain for Butterfree again, and Teleport. Teleport is a phenomenal move. I'll talk about it briefly right now, but for those who don't know, in competitive, Teleport is a move that allows you to have -6 priority, which means it's the last thing to move, and it allows you to switch out and switch to a different Pokemon. So that's kind of a new effect, and Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee. And what that does for you is it provides momentum in competitive Pokemon. Moves like U-Turn and Volt Switch, and in this case Teleport, allow you to activate your move and switch out to a different Pokemon. And anytime you activate a move or use a move, that goes after your opponent switches. So basically, think of this situation: you have a Chansey on the field that knows Teleport, and your opponent has an Alakazam on the field. Alakazam generally doesn't really do much to Chansey unless it has Psy Shock, so we're gonna assume it can't actually touch Chansey. So the opponent switches their Alakazam out into a Machamp, and you teleport, so their action goes first because it's a switch, your move goes second, you teleport, and then you can switch to the appropriate counter because you actually just saw what they switched into. So it's a really advantageous kind of opportunity there, and it's basically in some ways actually better than U-Turn and Volt Switch. So really cool move for especially defensive Pokemon in my opinion. Beedrill learning Outrage is a pretty big one. The fact that it gets Rage early on, and you might be like, why does it get Outrage now? But there's a pretty small move pool for Dragon type moves, so especially in this game, so I think they kind of wanted to give it to a lot more Pokemon. So in this case, it gets Outrage. Obviously, it's just a really angry bee, so that's kind of cool that it gets a Dragon type move there. Nothing really too much for these Pokemon. A lot of distribution for Dig. Pikachu learning Calm Mind is actually pretty crazy. Obviously, a Lowland Raichu is a Psychic type, but getting Calm Mind on Raichu is kind of cool, so you have that opportunity there. And it's actually funny because it says Raichu Alola form doesn't have Calm Mind, so I'm not really... Well, I guess maybe it always had Calm Mind, so that might be the difference there. A big one here is a Lowland Sandshrew and a Lowland Sandslash getting Ice Shard. Ice Shard is one of the best Ice type moves because it's a priority move. Ice type moves are really, really good because they hit Flying types and Dragon types super effectively, along with a couple other types, but especially for those Pokemon that have that big 4x weakness like Dragonite, having Ice Shard is just a really useful kind of addition to a Lowland Sandslash's move pool. And in terms of all the new moves of all the Pokemon in Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, this actually is probably one of the best additions for any Pokemon, so hopefully it'll actually get that moving forward in the future games. You know, you see Payday for Nidoqueen is kind of cool, and you'll see the same thing for Nidoking. You're going to see Clefairy getting Poliwrath. Obviously, Poliwrath distribution as a TM kind of opened it up for similar to Outrage, right? Like a lot of Pokemon that maybe didn't have it previously can actually learn it. Tri-Attack is a decent normal type move as well that gets distributed pretty nicely. Alolan Vulpix learning Dazzling Gleam is pretty nice. Obviously, again, Dig continues to be distributed across so many Pokemon. Jigglypuff learning Tri-Attack is nice. Mega Drain for Golbat gives it kind of something, I guess, to hit like Kabutops and Omastar. So that's kind of a cool option there. It did previously learn Giga Drain as Crobat, so it's not really that big of a deal. Gloom learning Moonblast. Obviously, Vileplume could previously learn it, but that's kind of cool there. Paris doesn't really get it. I mean, I guess Sleep Powder, but obviously you're going to use Spore. Venomoth learning Mega Drain, not really a big deal, but Dream Eater and Teleport are kind of cool. The fact that it does get Sleep Powder plus Dream Eater is kind of neat. I do wish they gave Dream Eater to Parasect though with its 100% accurate Spore. That could have been pretty cool. Agility Dugtrio is probably one of the most useless things Alolan Persian, of course, getting, you know, Alolan Meowth getting Poliwrath is kind of cool. Obviously, previously its evolved form could get it. GhostLocke getting Payday, Primeape getting Payday, obviously Growlithe and Arcanine getting Poliwrath, and then the big one is Arcanine getting Teleport, which I want to say in Gen 1 it actually did get. I'm not positive about that, but that's still pretty cool. So that's another opportunity. Like Volt Switch isn't in the game, but U-Turn is, so that's kind of an opportunity to get those pivots going there. Poliwrath, Superpower, some pretty cool options. One of the big ones though is Poliwrath getting Superpower. Poliwrath has previously kind of been hindered by the fact that it doesn't have a really reliable fighting type move that's super good, and Superpower is still not the best option. Close combat would be better, but Superpower at least gives it something to hit really hard with from a physical fighting type perspective. Alakazam getting Tri-Attack is kind of cool, but at least in like in-game playthrough, not anything crazy there. Sucker Punch on Victory Bell was something that it could previously get through transfer moves, so nothing super new there. A lot of Reflect distribution we see, which is cool. Alolan Geodude getting Thunder Wave, Thunder Shock, which is interesting. And then of course you got Alolan Golem here, which again, same kind of deal. Not really going to utilize those attacks. Payday for the Slowbro family. Teleport for Magneton is also really cool, especially since it's got a lot of resistances. So being able to teleport out similarly, kind of how that example I used with Chansey, that could actually kind of give it some viability and competitive. Farfetch getting some different cut type moves, nothing crazy, cut instead of NHM. Dodrio and Doduo being the same. Seal and Dugong actually getting Megahorn is kind of neat. Megahorn is a TM in this game, TM 60. And it's a really powerful bug type move, so they kind of gave a little bit wider distribution, so that's kind of interesting. One of the biggest kind of interesting points here is Muck and Alolan Muck learning Moonblast. And Alolan Muck and Muck have pretty poor special attack stats, so it's not really that significant of an improvement, but it's certainly one of those things that makes you go, how does it learn Moonblast? And I'm not quite sure I understand the logic of this pile of sludge somehow kind of beckoning the moon to attack the opponent, but nevertheless. Cloyster getting Teleport is cool, but again, Cloyster is one of those Pokemon that's really going to utilize Shell Smash more than anything. Ghastly getting Thunder is crazy. I know in the past Gengar did get Thunderbolt, so it's not really a big deal. Mega Drain, of course, same kind of deal. It did get Giga Drain, so nothing too crazy there. Hypno getting Teleport, a lot of the Psychic type Pokemon being able to utilize that. Again, same with Electrode, and Execute is really cool. Executor. Power Whip, that's a big one for Executor, especially Alolan Executor, which actually can run kind of a mix set. And I think in this format, Alolan Executor actually has some good viability in the fact that it's a pretty strong Dragon-type Pokemon. What it normally would do is run Trick Room and kind of utilize that with like Draco Meteor and stuff, but kind of misses out in this game. But Power Whip is still a really strong grass type move, and the best alternative would be Giga Drain and then Solar Beam, which is really strong, but there's no weather, so Power Whip is a really viable grass type move. Lowland Marowak, pretty much the same. You're gonna see not much from the Hitmones there. Lickitung getting Acid. A lot of Pokemon, again, seems like everything learns Dig and Payday and whatever else. I mentioned Chansey getting Teleport. That's probably one of the biggest ones in terms of how it can impact competitive. Obviously, in-game isn't really a big deal, but it definitely is a really big addition there. Goldeen learning Quick Attack is something that I think is really weird. I've actually seen some people tweet and get like thrown off about that, and that's kind of funny. Starmie, of course, getting Teleport as well. Electabuzz getting Teleport, Magmar getting Teleport, Pinsir learning Outrage, love to see that. That's actually really cool. Pinsir known for having a lot of different fighting type moves, kind of getting some, I guess, diverse move pool there. Obviously, you're generally probably not going to run Outrage on it, but in a format with limited steel types and only a few fairies, it's really not a terrible option, but there's still probably better things than that. The one thing that makes me sad is I don't believe Pinsir gets Megahorn, now that I think about it. I think you actually, like, what is Pinsir? Can I open this really quickly into a new tab real quick and look at Pinsir? Because, like, I'm trying to figure out, this is going to take me to, yeah, Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee. It does get X-Scissor. Okay, so X-Scissor is in Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee. I wanted to make sure of that. So that's its real best option, is using X-Scissor, which kind of stinks because I feel like Megahorn would have been a really good addition to him. And I know it doesn't have like one dedicated horn, so like I kind of get it, but I really feel like Pinsir could have gotten Megahorn, and I actually think that would have been a really good improvement, especially in this format where, like, realistically, like, he doesn't have an ability, so he doesn't even have a single flying type move that it can benefit from being a flying type when a Mega evolves. Like, they didn't even give it Aerial Ace. Or I don't know Air Release is in it. Like, they should have given it something. Like, there's no flying type move for Pinsir, which really stinks. So, competitive Pinsir is really going to run, like, Swords Dance, X-Scissor, maybe, like, I don't know, Rock Slide, Earthquake, like, you know, that kind of set. You know, it's kind of sad that it doesn't have any way to utilize any flying type moves. That's a bit of a bummer there. Nothing too crazy for these guys. Lapras learns Megahorn. I get that it has a horn, I understand that, but like, how do you not get Pinsir Megahorn? Eevee, of course, getting Payday, the whole Evolution line getting Payday, which is nice. Porygon getting Teleport's kind of cool. Nothing really cool for these guys. Leech Life on Kabutops is actually kind of nice. Kind of interesting that it didn't have it previously, but like, it gets Leech Life, but like, Pinsir doesn't get Megahorn. I'm just gonna harp on that topic because that's kind of like, Miracle on Articuno is actually kind of sick, in my opinion. Maybe not the best idea, but like still kind of sick. And then we see Teleport kind of get distributed across here, and Mew is gonna learn everything. So Mew doesn't even have a horn. Mew doesn't have a horn. That's that. So yeah, man, I wanted to cover this because I thought it was kind of interesting and kind of talk about some of the different Pokemon and maybe some of their moves. Again, some of the big takeaways though is going to really be the TM distribution, like the Teleport is going to be one of the big ones in competitive, and then just kind of looking at some of the other options here as well. Megahorn, Solar Beam distribution, Giga Drain, or Mega Drain instead of Giga Drain, Outrage, and so on and so forth. So which one's your kind of favorite edition and most surprising edition? And you know it's Muck getting Moonblast, because that's just the answer. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thanks to Joe again. Hit that like button, subscribe if you guys are new. My name is Dan. I also go by aDrive. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.